Spring football is here, and I have now dubbed the XFL the Xtra Funds League. Turned a profit last week, ready to do it again here in week 2. Hello, everyone. I am Brandon Rush from the Fat Jack Sports Service. Thursday night action in the XFL, and we're going to preview it and all the games this weekend. The XFL schedule makers absolutely did Seattle zero favors. However, I don't know that it's going to matter. They're going to come into tonight's game as a 4-point favorite. Total in this game quickly rising. It opened at 35.5, now up to 38.5. And to be honest with you, 77% of the money, 72% of the bets on the over. I like the over. Playing on a short week, and Seattle playing Sunday night in DC, flying back to the hub in Dallas, and then flying to Seattle for this game. Even though the offense has struggled, the defenses are pretty good. I feel like these defensive legs are going to be a little bit tired. I expect this one to go over the total. If you can get it lower, obviously, that's good. But even with the 38.5 that it's at right now, I still like that. I also do like Seattle -4 to get the win over St. Louis. Seattle was great in stretches in that game Sunday night. St. Louis was trash for 58 minutes, found a way to win. But Seattle -4 and the over 38.5. My first pick for this week in the Xtra Funds League. On to Saturday, DC goes to Vegas. Very interested to see what the Vegas crowd looks like. Obviously, with previous iterations of minor league football in Vegas, it was always interesting, but with the Raiders there, and I don't know what the promotion's been like for the Vipers there, playing at a baseball stadium. I just don't know how that home environment's going to be. Wrong team's favored. DC +3. Give me that all day. Everybody and their dog on the under as well, 35.5. It seems about right, but I'm going to fade the public on this one. 91% of the money on the under. I'll go ahead and take over 35.5 on Saturday night. On to Sunday's doubleheader. San Antonio heads to Orlando for the Guardians home opener. San Antonio, a 3.5-point favorite. Orlando looked awful in that first game against Houston. I think we're going to look back and see that Houston was actually pretty good. I don't think Orlando's as bad as they showed in that first game, but San Antonio, I think, has a good grasp. Earlier, I said that we're going to fade the public on the total in that DC Vegas game. The public all over San Antonio, 84% of the money with the Brahmas -3.5, and go ahead and lump me in with them. You don't always have to fade the public, but it is a nice little thing to look at. This game will go under the 38.5 as well, even though San Antonio had moments where they were able to move the ball at home. I am very curious to see what the track looks like in Orlando, and if weather is going to be a factor in that game as well, which always gives the possibility with those outdoor games. So I'll take San Antonio and the under 38.5. And again, massive amount of public money on San Antonio, but I'm not shying away from it. Then on the final week for XFL week number 2, the Xtra Funds League brings us maybe the game of the weekend. Arlington going to Houston. Arlington, another team that really did not look all that great for the most part of that game defensively, though. They got a couple of great plays from their defense, got a pick 6, almost got another one, set them up for a go-ahead score. And for the most part, Houston's offense, pretty dang good. By the way, Houston, 5-0 all-time in the XFL. You go back to 2020 and this year. Granted, it's the same team name, but that's literally the only similarities between that team and the team that is on the field this year. But a nice start for the Roughnecks in that win against Orlando last week. And second straight home game, I expect the Roughnecks to win. Houston -5, I think, is probably the better play. 61% of the money with the Roughnecks. And I'll go ahead and I'll take the over 40. I think Houston can score at will, and Arlington's offense is going to get better. They had moments in week 1 where they looked okay, but still a little bit unsure. You make your best improvement between week 1 and week 2. So I expect Arlington's offense to be a bit better and Houston to keep rolling. So Houston -5 and over the 40. Don't forget, if you want to sign up and win every day of the season, it's simple. Go to fatjacksports.com. You can get basketball through the rest of March Madness now, or get everything through the NBA Finals in June. You sign up for basketball through the NBA Finals, you'll get the entire baseball season for free. Cannot beat that. And if you want to save money, you can do so just because you watch this YouTube video. Use promo code SPRING to take 20% off any package right now at FatJackSports.com, whether it's this weekend, the UFC going as well, or the full season package through next year's Super Bowl. You can get it all at FatJackSports.com. Use that promo code SPRING, SPRING, to take 20% off any package. The Xtra Funds League is here, and we'll be back next week for another episode. This is your XFL Week 2 preview. I'm Brandon Rush for the Fat Jack Sports Service.